the thing that I wanted to point out first and foremost about that apology is I thought it was very sincere. I thought that he is very much aware that he knows he fucked up and that he's got some big time making up to do. And he cited every single person. It's not just, oh man, like, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Like, no, I fucked up with the front office, my teammates, my family. He says my country. Like, how many people in the Dominican Republic look up to Fernando Tatis Jr. as like, hey, that's the guy that we want to be. Like before it was like, Pedro, everyone, Pedro. Now, Fernando Tatis is the guy in Major League Baseball where it's like, hey, if you're a kid in the Dominican Republic, right there, that's who you can strive to be. And you let down all those people in the Dominican Republic that are either a fan of yours or aspire to be you or like you. Now you're not going to be considered a role model to that group of people. And I saw some people on Twitter say, like, he's just sorry that he got caught. And if that's your line of thinking, then that means that no one can ever apologize. Like, no one can ever, like, how many people just like do something and then turn themselves in? Like, it usually starts with getting caught or called out for doing something that you should not be doing. And then you realize your mistake or your error in judgment. And then you can go from there and apologize and make amends and make peace with it, with the person that you wronged or the people that you've wronged, and then yourself. So I don't get all the people that were like, he's just sorry he got caught. No shit. Like, no shit, he's sorry he got caught, because now he's embarrassed on a public scale and he has to do this public apology to people. And there have been plenty in professional sports and whatever, politics. There have been plenty of fuck ups where people have to publicly apologize. I would say the vast majority come across as insincere, and Tatis's apology did not come across that way. It felt very sincere to me. I don't know how you guys felt about it.
It sounds sincere. Do you believe the ringworm shit? Did that seem?
No. That's why like when he called out, or not called out, but like referenced his parents, when he's like, I let down my parents. It's like, well, how could you let down your parents when your parents were the ones saying like, no, he had ringworm and he took medication for it.
So you're calling your dad a liar? Is your dad a liar now? Like,
he's calling, like, he's saying like, hey, thanks for trying to cover for me, mom, but like, I took steroids. Like,
no, he did not say that. He said in the interview that he had ringworm and used that medication, and that's how he tested positive.
But then his mom posted a picture of like a hickey on his neck and was like, see, he did have ringworm. But if you're in your apology saying like, I'm sorry for letting down my parents, it's like you're acknowledging that you knowingly took something.
No, he's acknowledging that he didn't go to the team doctor and he didn't ask if he could take it. That's what he's apologizing for. And that's why he feels sorry. And that's why, he's not saying he took anything on purpose. And I actually fucking believe him. I believe this shit. Because
how much research have we done into the anabolic steroid that he tested positive for and the connection to ringworm? Like there's ringworm medications that have anabolic steroids in them.
What you got to understand is medications vary from countries to country. So what is street legal in one country is not street legal in another. It's not FDA approved in another. And like you can walk into a fucking pharmacy in Mexico, buddy, and get testosterone.
Don't tell me that.
You can get anything in the Dominican Republic. And apparently they do give this shit out for ringworm sometimes, even though it's not recommended. And all these doctors are being like, you would never prescribe that. But apparently what I've read is that there are places in the Dominican Republic who will prescribe that.
Well, and that's like, so to like, again, this is just getting back into like, do you believe him? Do you not? Because we're at the suspension phase of this whole process, right? Like, I honestly could just give a shit. I don't care. It's so tired, like this whole process and that's not taking away from the sincerity that I'm sure he feels in his heart. Like I'm not here to do that. Like I had those emotions fucking 15 years ago. You know what I mean? Like I know how big of a part of the sport of baseball this is. I know how high the level of acceptance for this behavior is. And I know how little of an interest there is in truly deterring the usage of it. So making peace with that a long time ago, I understand that this, like I just said, is just a part of the process. This is phase 2, right? Phase 1, you get caught and you go through that cycle. Phase 2 is accepting the punishment and then the apology. And then phase 3 is living it out. And this isn't a Fernando Tatis thing at all. I've just never been a big, in my personal life, apologies, they don't do much for me. Like, it's all about the action afterwards. We all know that. We've all grown up with the whole actions speak louder than words, right? That's been said to you. You've probably used that phrase. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. None of us, who the fuck are we to be casting stones any further at this dude? What do you got? Like, the Padres are going to accept it. His friends and family are going to accept it. The fans are going to accept it. What are you hung up on? Like, whether you like it or not.
What I'm hung up on is if what you guys are saying is true, both of you, with Joey saying, they do prescribe that shit in the Dominican Republic for ringworm and it's commonplace, and Dallas saying, yeah, like it's street legal over there if you want to get it. Then there has to be. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's commonplace, but
that's a caveat. That's a caveat, though, and that's something that's really important to understand. Is because
what I'm
that
saying.
Would be like
what I'm saying is that if
COVID,
Tatis's story is plausible, then what I want from this now, there's got to be some sort of paper trail. There's got to be, like, if he visited a doctor and if it is street legal, there has to be some sort of prescription note. There has to be some sort of documentation of a doctor visit, something, anything to be able to, like, he's still an idiot for not looking into it. So, like, you're not trying to clear your name in the sense that, like, oh, like, they put something in there that they didn't tell me. It's like, no. You're owning that you're dumb enough to not check the fine print for what you were putting into your body, but at least you can verify your story that I did go there for this reason. I was prescribed this, and I tested positive because I didn't read what was actually in there. But, like, there has to be some sort of way to verify that.
Trust me, that's the whole investigation aspect of this kind of stuff, right? Because here's how it would go. Did you have this prescribed to you directly? Yes. Let's see that paper trail. I don't have it. Okay, where do you go from there? And then what if the answer is, did you get this prescribed to you directly? Nope. This was actually prescribed to a friend or a family member who had it and I used it. Okay, let's see that bottle. Let's see that package. Let's talk to that friend and let's see their paper trail between them and their doctor. And then what if that's a no? Then what are you going to do? Are you going to him the friend up? You're going to him the friend's doctor up? You're going to him Fernando? Like, that's what I mean is all of that being understood. This is part of just part of the fucking reaction. This is just what you do, man. This is what you do. This is part
of the
problem.
Playbook. I want to say this. The problem is with that is, like, in the Dominican Republic, you don't have to have a prescription to get that shit. So he probably didn't even have one. And it's probably, if this is a true story, it might not have been a doctor. It might have been someone being like, you've tried everything to do ringworm. And it's like, all right, try this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if it was a doctor, like a dermatologist or whatever. But yeah,
it could have been anyone, but it doesn't have to be a paper trail.
Like my whole thing, Jared, is like ivermectin. All right. This is the fucking horse dewormer that people have used to try to treat themselves with COVID. All right. Now,
is this the Joe Rogan shit?
Yeah. Some doctors are going to prescribe it or throw that out there and tell you that you can use it. That's going to be a large minority of physicians. That's going to be a really small amount. So definitely not commonplace at all. Right?
Yeah.
But to Joey's point, you don't need to even get this prescribed to you in the Dominican Republic. So this is something that you could walk in and buy right next to the Advil and treat yourself. But if the Advil has some shit in it, it's up to you to be looking at that bottle of Advil. And if this other stuff has some shit in it. It's up to you to be looking at this bottle of other shit. So those are the scenarios. Those are the 3 scenarios that are possible that we just laid out. For you, Jared, who's like, I want to know the story. I want to know the paper trail. I want to see how it happened because you want his story verified. Well, there's quite literally a space here or a scenario where the verification is left at like, oh, bro, I don't have my CVS receipt. Sorry.
But the whole point is it doesn't matter because like a PED suspension in Major League Baseball is not discretionary. Like it's not like, all right, we looked at it and we're going to give you 50. It's like, no, like first offense, 80 games, boom.
So to clarify, Jared, what he did is he did not break any state laws in the Dominican Republic. What he did was break a baseball law and a state law and a federal law here in the United States.
Correct. Yeah.
But
so
only
it's like
being punished through baseball.
Right. So it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because fans aren't going to believe it regardless. Like if you're not upfront with the proof, then it's like you've had enough time to manufacture it and whatever. Well, like people are always going to be skeptical about any late defense that you have.
For sure.
And again, like the league is going to suspend you 80 games automatically.
So like from here with guys, like how I look at it is, again, what does the behavior and the action look like moving forward? And like, if you're going to hate on somebody, if you're going to hate that's what you're going to do. That's your prerogative. Knock it out. Like that's how you want to live. And that's how you want to direct your energy. Like for the people who still are like, buddy, I will be booing Jose Altuve until he takes his last swing in Major League Baseball. You know what? If that's where you're at, man, I'm not here to tell you that you need to stop. Like so with stuff like this, the machine of Major League Baseball is going to do what they're going to do with players, and they're going to, they're going to write the story.